Finding affordable housing as a new immigrant in Canada can be one of the most challenging aspects of starting your new life. Canada offers a variety of housing options, but prices can vary widely depending on the city, province, and type of accommodation you are looking for. This guide will walk you through practical steps to help you find housing that fits your budget while ensuring a smooth transition into your new home. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who might find it helpful. Spreading this message will help other new immigrants facing the same challenges, and God will count this as your contribution to making life easier for others. 1. Research the local housing market. The cost of housing in Canada varies significantly by location. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal tend to have higher housing costs, while smaller towns and rural areas may offer more affordable options. Before moving, it's important to research the housing market in the area where you plan to settle. Websites for research. Some useful websites for housing searches include rentals.ca, PadMapper, and Kijiji, which list rental properties across Canada. You can compare prices, neighborhood amenities, and public transportation options. Look for subsidized housing. If you're on a tight budget, check for subsidized housing through provincial or territorial programs. For example, Ontario's Housing Benefit Program or British Columbia's Rental Assistance Program can help reduce rental costs for eligible individuals. 2. Understand the types of housing available. As a new immigrant, it's important to familiarize yourself with the types of housing available in Canada to find the best fit for your needs and budget. Apartments. Available in both high-rise and low-rise buildings. They are common in cities and vary in price depending on location and amenities. Basement apartments. These are often more affordable and are rented out by homeowners. Basement units can offer significant savings, especially in expensive urban areas. Shared accommodation. Renting a room in a shared house or apartment can be a cost-effective option. Websites like Craigslist and Roomster are good for finding shared accommodation. Cooperative housing, co-op. Some cities offer co-op housing, which is generally more affordable than market rentals. Rent is typically determined by income, making it a viable option for new immigrants with low earnings. Temporary housing. If you're not ready to commit to a long-term lease, you can look for temporary housing options through services like Airbnb or Hostelworld while you explore your options for more permanent housing. 3. Budgeting for housing costs. It's essential to plan your housing budget carefully. In Canada, housing costs generally include rent, utilities, electricity, water, heating, and sometimes parking fees. Make sure to set aside enough for these additional expenses. Rent. Typically, rent is your biggest housing expense. In some cities like Toronto or Vancouver, expect to pay around $1,200 to $2,500 Canadian dollars monthly for a one-bedroom apartment. Utilities. If utilities are not included in the rent, budget an additional $100 to $250 Canadian dollars per month, depending on the size of your accommodation and the season. First and last month's rent. When renting, landlords often require both the first and last month's rent as a deposit, so factor this into your initial budget. 4. Leverage government assistance for new immigrants. The Canadian government, along with various non-profit organizations, offers housing assistance and programs designed specifically for newcomers. These programs help ease the financial burden of finding affordable housing. Settlement agencies. Many settlement agencies provide housing assistance for new immigrants. These agencies can guide you through the rental process, connect you with affordable housing options, and help you understand your rights as a tenant. Rent geared to income, RGI, housing. Some provinces offer RGI housing, where rent is based on your income, making it an excellent option for immigrants with lower earnings. 5. Work with a realtor or housing professional. If you're unfamiliar with the Canadian housing market, working with a realtor or housing professional can be helpful, especially in competitive cities where affordable housing can be harder to find. Some real estate agents specialize in helping new immigrants find rentals and can navigate you through the paperwork and negotiation process. Keep in mind, however, that realtors may charge a fee for their services in some provinces. 6. Join online communities and networks. Many new immigrants find housing through online communities and social networks. Facebook groups, Reddit forums, and newcomer websites often have listings and recommendations for affordable housing options. Networking with other immigrants who have recently moved to Canada can also provide valuable insights and referrals. Popular Facebook groups. Check out groups like Newcomers to Canada or Toronto Apartment Rentals for tips and rental listings. Reddit. Subreddits like r Immigration Canada or r Canada Housing often have posts related to housing deals and advice for newcomers. 7. Avoid common rental scams. New immigrants are often targeted by rental scams, so it's important to be vigilant. Here are some ways to avoid getting scammed. Never wire money. Avoid sending money through wire transfers or e-transfers before you have signed a lease and seen the property. Verify the property. Always view the property in person or via a trusted representative before agreeing to rent it. If something seems too good to be true, such as rent that's significantly below market value, it could be a scam. Check for legitimacy. If you're working with a landlord or property manager, ensure they are legitimate by checking their references or consulting local tenant boards. 8. Explore smaller towns and cities. While major cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal are popular destinations for new immigrants, they also tend to have higher rental prices. Consider looking for housing in smaller towns or cities in Atlantic Canada, such as Halifax or Charlottetown, where rent is often lower and the cost of living is more affordable. These areas also offer great quality of life and growing job markets. 9. Be prepared to sign a lease. Once you've found the right housing option, you'll need to sign a lease agreement. Make sure to review the lease carefully before signing. The lease will typically include the rent amount and payment due date, the length of the lease, usually 12 months for residential properties, rules about utilities, pets, and parking details, about deposit requirements, typically the first and last month's rent. Keep a copy of the lease for your records and ensure you understand your rights as a tenant, including rules for terminating the lease or renewing it after the term ends. Finding affordable housing in Canada as a new immigrant can be a daunting task, but with the right information and resources, it becomes more manageable. Start by researching the housing market, exploring various housing options, budgeting for all related costs, and using government programs and settlement services designed for newcomers. By being diligent and careful, you can find a comfortable and affordable place to call home. If you found this guide helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from the information. Your support helps us reach more people who are navigating the same journey.